So I have the chart up. I was just writing my report for Instagram for tomorrow about this very interesting new moon coming in. And I felt more inspired to talk about it than thank you, Charlotte. I felt more inspired to talk about it here than write about it, because this new moon I like it. But it's very interesting, and there's a lot going on, so I want to unpack it with you here live. I don't even know where to start. Hold on, this is a little bit extra. I've been listening to so much Dead Can Dance this fall. I don't know if you guys know Dead Can Dance. It's so incredible. Anyways, okay, so this new moon, where do we start? Okay, well, first of all, we know that new moons are new cycles, and I heard, I'm not going to say any names, but I heard astrologer that I really love and respect actually saying that they didn't think that it was wise to start new things under this new cycle because of the volatility of some of the aspects. And I definitely understand why they said that, although I don't necessarily agree, and I wanted to go into that a little bit. So this new moon has Mars conjunct. So the energy of Mars is fusing with the new moon itself, which is very, very powerful, especially because Mars is in Scorpio. Scorpio is the traditional ruler of Mars. So having Mars fusing energies with this new moon, which we can think of as this new portal that we're stepping into, and a new cycle, having Mars there, particularly in Scorpio, makes it a very powerful new cycle. Now, that being said, Uranus is in exact opposition to Mars, and the energy of Uranus is fundamentally unstable and comes with a bit of chaos, unexpected twists and turns, and when we're dealing with the energy of Uranus, things can come out of nowhere and shift the timeline. So that is why that astrologer was saying that they didn't believe that it was wise to start new things, because there's an element of energetic instability within things that we may be starting right now. Now, that being said, I think that if we begin things right now with giving it breathing room to have twists and turns and welcome an unfolding process of innovation and experimentation, then it's quite expansive, actually. And I think that a lot of people are feeling inspired to start new things right now because of the presence of Mars. Now, what is going on with Mars deserves some attention, and I think we want to pick Mars apart a little bit because there's a lot going on with Mars right now. There's also a subtle or not so subtle theme around sexuality in the field right now, and when I say sexuality, I am referring to the more like the undercurrents of desire that are hidden and veiled from view, that are much more related to primal root chakra desires. And this is where Mars and Scorpio can become a bit of a weapon. And it has this almost like Lilith-like energy, which is powerful energy when it's channeled in the right way. So Mars is being stimulated by the opposition from Uranus, and it's bringing out this kind of snake-like, kind kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? It's a bit like a samurai or a ninja right now, this Mars energy. And it's kind of like, it's got this, I've been through some shit, and you know when something bad happens or someone fucks with you and you cut your losses and you use that energy to propel forward even stronger? Mars is kind of going through that right now. That's kind of what it feels like to me. Is it's like going after things with a renewed sense of enthusiasm that's like, for a lot of people, potentially subtly toxic right now, or coming from this very raw, powerful place. It doesn't have to be toxic, but there's definitely the potential for there to be some toxic manipulative energy in the field right now because of the aspects being made to Mars. And we know that Scorpio is known for revenge. And that is because Scorpio, as an archetype, has essentially volunteered itself to explore themes around abandonment and betrayal. So we have to really hand it to Scorpio, because who the fuck wants to do that? Scorpio is doing that. So this is why Scorpios are so intense, right? Because they're here to explore the nature of attachments and the nature of completely merging with another being through sexual energy, which is, of course, the deepest form of intimacy, but also all aspects of emotional merging and intimacy. That being said, Scorpio is also here to explore inevitable endings that exist within all things. So Scorpio merges, becomes attached at a soul level, obsessed even, and then that which it has formed attachment to inevitably changes. There is an inevitable phoenix process within everything. Cyclically and seasonally, things will die and transform. So then Scorpio goes through the emotional process of what happens when something that we have loved or attached to goes away. So you could sort of think of Scorpio as being almost in perpetual mourning, which is why they're often wear black. And they have a real depth and intensity and understanding for existence because of these very intense and painful experiences. So knowing that Mars is in Scorpio right now, and that Scorpio, especially Mars in Scorpio, when it's aspected in a not so favorable way, as in the case right now with Uranus in opposition to Mars, we can see some of these more toxic or wounded parts of Scorpio come out. Our job, I think, right now is to transform them and transmute them into the best form possible. There is a place for this energy, right? I think, Mars and Scorpio is kind of known for wanting revenge. And rather than like Mars and Scorpio, in this case, going for revenge, it could be more like resetting the scales in a way that is reflecting justice, and a real sense of loyalty to self. Mars and Scorpio is fucking ruthless. You do not want to fuck with somebody with Mars and Scorpio. So it's kind of that energy right now of like, it's very unfuckwithable. And if this is channeled in the right way, there's almost nothing more powerful. Mars and Scorpio will get what it wants. And there's really nothing that can stop Mars and Scorpio. When it sets its sights on something, it's going to get it. And with Uranus in opposition to Mars right now, however, there is this kind of, like I said, element of potentially what you're going after right now not really panning out as you think it would, but there's this like experimental thing happening in the air where some people might fuck around and find out right now. And again, what's driving that fuck around and find out energy right now might be kind of like a root chakra, more primal area of the human psyche. But it's kind of like, well, that's okay sometimes, you know? There's definitely a place for that. And the cool thing about Mars is Mars runs on instinct, right? It's very primal. So it's not even something like the energy right now is like, just fucking do it. Like, example, this is like not that sexy or Scorpio or anything, but like I decided to start a TikTok. I decided that like yesterday. I was literally so frustrated. I did my my YouTube video for the new moon, right? And put it up. And ever since the fucking, I don't even want to say the word. I don't even want to say the words anymore on these channels. Ever since the sickness and everything, and when I was honest about it on my YouTube, ever since then, I've been shadow banned. It's literally been years. And I used to average a certain amount of views on my channel. I don't even get close to that anymore. And I know it's related to that because it literally was the most dramatic plummeting of numbers overnight and whatever. It's annoying. So it's just frustrating, you know, to like put a lot of work into these videos, put them out, no one fucking sees them. And I'm just like, okay. So Uranus energy, right? Adapt, expand, think outside the box, try something you haven't fucking tried. And I've had this beef with TikTok for a long time. I don't know why. I guess when it came out, I felt like we were already so inundated with social media platforms. And I was like, oh God, another one. You know what I mean? And so yeah, I never even got the app. I've never had the app TikTok. And just kind of had the realization yesterday. I was like, you know what? Maybe this beef with TikTok is lame. Maybe you should just try something different. And turns out it's super easy and super fun over there. So it's kind of that energy right now of Mars is your direction and your drive and your passion to go after something you really desire and you really want. And Uranus is like, why don't we real quick just experiment and be innovative and try something new. That being said, because I started my TikTok with this energy, I don't really know what's going to happen over there. I could do it for a couple months and it could not go anywhere. I don't know, but thought I would try it out. What else? Yeah, there is also this element of, you have to remember that Uranus is the awakener that awakens us to a new perception. And Uranus is also a rebel. Uranus is about revolution and rebellion. So having Uranus opposite Mars, it can definitely have us wanting to rebel or free ourselves from something, I'm hoping for most of us, something kind of toxic. You know, this is kind of like that classic cutoff energy that Scorpio is so good with. I think that Uranus could be enhancing that for some people right now, where some people during this new moon, potentially with like a bit of attitude, might just be like, you know what, fuck you, I'm out of here. You know, it's kind of that vibe as well. So yeah, there's a lot of spice in this one. I like it. Let's see what else. So we have Saturn direct now. Saturn went direct on the 3rd or the 4th. And that being said, we have to remember that Saturn is at a standstill for literally all of November. So when Saturn is at a standstill, we feel his ass. He's like crushing us right now. So it's like the 3D feels a little bit more 3D when Saturn is at a standstill. It's just everything is kind of heavy, slower. Saturn comes with consequences. Sorry, I'm like sniffing so much. I just went for a run and my nose is kind of running right now. So yeah, we've got Saturn. Saturn will start to get moving. When does he go into 1 degree? End of November. So he'll start to get moving a bit more like end of December. And then we have a very exciting Gregorian New Year, to be honest. On December 31st, Jupiter will go direct. I think it's super cute that Jupiter is going direct on December 31st this year. I'm not really a Gregorian girl, but hey, I think that's pretty cool, especially with Jupiter in Taurus. And what's really exciting is that when Jupiter goes direct on December 31st, I'm going to give you the specs and then I'll tell you what it means. So when Jupiter goes direct on December 31st, it's going to be right around in the vicinity of where Jupiter was when it made conjunction with the North Node, way back end of May, beginning of June. So what does this mean? All right. So basically end of May, beginning of June, Jupiter made conjunction to the North Node in Taurus. That's why I had my first quantum webinar way back, because that was such a unique window of opportunity that even if you weren't aware of it happening, you probably unconsciously did make some adjustments or set some intentions or put things in motion that may powerfully move forward on December 31st when Jupiter goes direct back at that placement. By the way, I get DMs all the time and I don't always have time to respond to them. If you guys want to do the quantum challenge vibe, it's still going on. A lot of people seem to think that they missed the boat or something. No, you can start it whenever you want. It's free. We've got a WhatsApp going and a whole community over there. It's super fun. All you have to do is email me, coyotestarastrology@gmail.com. I send you the info and you're in. So anyways, Jupiter conjunct the North Node. So let's talk about it. North Node in Taurus. Taurus is about creating financial abundance and stability in your life, creating security in the material realms, better, healthier values around love and relationships, because North Node Taurus rules, is ruled by Venus. I know the North Node isn't in Taurus anymore, but follow me. That's where Jupiter was way back in end of May, beginning of June. So because Jupiter is about expansion, opportunity, and growth, having Jupiter at the North Node end of May, beginning of June, was a time when a lot of people were expanding or trying to expand in those Taurian ways. Jupiter did its thing, went retrograde. As of right now, Jupiter is retrograde at 9 degrees, but December 31st will have made his way all the way back to 5 degrees, which is around when he made conjunction with the North Node. So a lot of words to basically say that December 31st is a moment of real opportunity where a lot of you guys are going to see your efforts pay off and bloom. Of course, you want to know where Jupiter is hitting your chart and aspects that are being made to your natal planets, because this can be offset by a number of things, but Jupiter is a benefic, and it's really nice when he comes back online. That's for sure. Cool. The sound slows down and speeds up. It's a little strange. Unfortunately, I don't think I'm going to Origins anymore for a couple different reasons. I will be, I believe, I'll for sure be in Bali doing 2 retreats in April and May, and I'm 90% sure that I'll be in Australia around Byron Bay in April. But Origins, I'm not doing. Does anybody have any questions before I sign off? I think I went through everything I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I'll be in Byron Bay. I want to do a workshop with Tiarni if I go out there. Totally rambling, Rose. Yeah, I think I mean, like I said before, there is an aspect to what's happening in the chart right now that is highly sensual, and it's really funny. I've been walking around the last couple of days, like looking around, like at all the humans, and I'm like, I know that people's minds are kind of in the gutter right now. And because of the placement, like Mars in Scorpio is highly sexual, and then you have the opposition from Uranus, and Uranus rules the electricity of the body. It rules Kundalini. And when I say mind in the gutter, I don't even just mean about sex. I mean just in general. Like, people are kind of like, oh, like, what if I did this? What if I did that? And it's funny to me. So back to the point is with Mars activated in that way, if we channel that energy towards our goals, I mean, that's the most powerful energy in the universe, you know, that sacral energy. I knew someone once that said to me, it was so inspiring. He said that he tried to make love to his day. And he said, I try to walk through the day with my sensuality, in the sense that where doors open, I flow through them. Where there's a closed door, I don't push. I just keep going. And he said, I just try to make love to my day and let it open to me and push my energy forward in that very sensual way. And I thought that was so not only hot, but a very deep form of mastery. And I think that if we channel this energy in that way, it can be really beautiful. But not in that manipulative way, because that comes with karma. And when Scorpio gets into that whole place, it's just a wounded place, you know, and it comes with so much baggage. Okay, so a new relationship started right now would be super interesting. Both parties would have to really welcome the energy of Uranus, in the sense of like, don't know how long this will last, don't know where this is going, don't really care, just living in the moment, open if you are, don't need to put a label on it, let's just go with our instinct on this, I'm feeling it, you're feeling it. But it's not really like, yeah, it's not for longevity and commitment and all that stuff. You kind of want like Saturn on board, which, yeah. But it could be fun. And yeah, I've been seeing some people in the chat talking about how they're really going through it right now. And the thing is Mars is the planet of war, and our primal emotions, and one of the aspects of Mars is anger, rage, frustration, etc. So a lot of people are probably transmuting deeper layers of their anger and frustration, while that Scorpio energy is bringing up aspects of that they may not have even been aware of, because Scorpio brings that up from the depths. I mean, totally spinning circles. It's very sensual energy. I don't know if I would start a relationship within this new moon, as in like making that commitment personally. If I was looking for something really stable, I don't know. Blacklight Astrology is here. Do you want to come on and talk to me? I was going to get off, but because I've said everything I need to say. But if you want to come on and have a chat, let's do it. Hi. Come on. What do? Do I ask to invite you? Do you need a second? Oh my God, yay. With her. She's such a good astrologer.
Well, that's exciting. Hey,
Hi.
how are you, love?
I'm good.
It's so good to see you. Sorry, I'm in the dark, everybody. I'm walking home from yoga, but hi.
Oh my gosh. You have really good reception. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Laura Black, Blacklight Astrology. Alex is my major inspiration. I just adore her. I'm so excited to get to see you right now.
Yeah. So I was just doing a live about the new moon in Scorpio. Let's wrap a little bit. What are you feeling?
Oh my gosh. It's one of those things where, okay, the moon is in Scorpio, Mars is the ruler, and Mars is in Scorpio with this new moon. So it stops there, right? When we're thinking about rulers, it all concentrates deeply into the most concentrated, pinpointed energy. It's trying to, and with the opposition to Uranus, I've missed your whole spiel. You've probably said all of this, but
Okay.
it's, if there's been something basically since like 2017. You think about Uranus entering Taurus, and pretty much ever since then, this new moon is kind of trying to cut through some of the bullshit. All of the, wherever Taurus is in your chart, all of the awakening that's been trying to happen in that arena is kind of coming to a head with this new moon. It's not complete, it won't be complete until 2025 with that new moon in Scorpio or full moon in Taurus. But holy moly, we're talking about the precursor, sorry guys, the precursor to this conjunction of Uranus and Jupiter in Taurus in April. And this is like, one of the things that I'm hoping for Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus in April is breakthroughs financially, for the individual and on a macro scale.
Okay,
I'm really hoping that people find.
Wait. I'm so glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
But I want to explain to people what that is.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Okay, so first of all, about the Mars conjunction with the new moon, I totally agree with you. I was basically saying the same thing as far as like this new moon has that like unfuckwithable energy of a Scorpio that's like been done dirty and is kind of just like, fuck you, like I'm doing whatever the fuck I want at this point. It's ruthless, it's a little bit cutthroat, it's kind of got, like I've been saying, like crazy toxic bitch energy that's propelling it forward, but I like that about it. And what she brought up, which I was gonna wait, but you brought it up, so it's fine. It's fine. I was saving it, I will admit. God. So Laura just brought up the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in Taurus that is happening in April 2024. So I'll go into the logistics of what it is just so people know, and then I keep going with it, okay? Okay. So we have in April 2024, we're going to have the meeting up of two major planets. We have Jupiter, which we know magnifies anything it touches. Jupiter is like a gigantic magnifying glass. Anything Jupiter is around is going to be larger than life. Jupiter is going to magnify the planet Uranus. Uranus is the planet of unexpected events, explosions, electricity, technology, revolution, rebellion, awakening, like we were talking about, it rules Kundalini energy. So Jupiter making conjunction with Uranus is going to be like, it's insane. It's like the third eye of humanity being blasted open. Now with it will come, I'm sure, the hallmark destabilizing energies of Uranus, potential earthquakes, volcanoes, eruptions, explosions, revolution, which is fundamentally destabilizing because revolution is about tearing down the structures from before to replace them with something new. So anyways, that's what she's talking about, guys. So please continue.
Yeah, exactly. That energy. And this is, you guys, this is the energy that's present with everything from the moon landing to the invention of the cell phone or telephone in general. Like every technological advancement that we've ever had has happened under the Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, which happens once every 14 years, I believe. Mm-hmm. So this time it's coming around and it's in the sign of Taurus. So there is, with this new moon happening this weekend, there's a combination of things. We're not at the end. We are 2 years away from a 7-year tour of Uranus through Taurus. And Uranus is opposite this new moon in Scorpio. And so there's sort of a pain point trying to be highlighted under this new moon that has to do with the same themes that have been cropping up under the awakening influence of Uranus, wherever Taurus is in your chart, since about 2017. And this isn't the grand finale by any means, but it is leading to some massive, massive, massive breakthroughs. And this Scorpio new moon might be kind of forcing people to feel the feels and initiate some kind of work toward the healing. It doesn't feel like a very healing weekend to me. It feels like, for a lot of people, a painful release that is like the same pain. Maybe I'm projecting here. This is my shit. It's the same pain that we've been having in our Taurus Scorpio axis for at least the last, like, since 2017.
I don't think you're projecting. I think you're spot on.
Do you think so? Do you feel that?
I mean, like, I feel good, but I have Jupiter opposite my freaking Pluto right now, so I'm like, don't fuck with me, bitch, right now. Like, but
that's right. You're looking at you. You're Scorpio.
I feel strong. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna get it done. Whatever the fuck. Like, yeah, I feel good. But compared to the year I had last year, like, I'm literally like, fucking bring it, seriously. But no, but like I am seeing the shadow big time. I'm seeing the same kind of shit rear its head in a way that, like I was saying in the live before, is it's like I'm choosing to fly higher than that more primitive Scorpio energy by just grabbing it, spinning it, using it, and channeling it into everything I want to create. Yeah. I mean, just like literally making that energy my bitch, you know? And that is what Mars and Scorpio would do.
Yeah. Shit.
Yeah.
Which is so funny when you soften it with the moon. So of course, new moon, we're setting intentions. It's the beginning of a new cycle, but it's also the beginning of a 2-year cycle with Mars. Anytime, you know, Mars passes into a sign or over something in your chart, it's a fresh new 2-year cycle for that thing. So where you have 20 degrees of Scorpio, or 20, where is it now? 22, 24 degrees of Scorpio is Mars, is where something's being freshly activated for this new 2-year cycle. And what I'm seeing more, I think, with my clients with this weekend is not only like, okay, it's a little bit painful, we're letting people go. I even saw somebody comment on like, yes, letting go of old loves and, you know, hoping it works out for them, like a freedom release. But I'm seeing a lot of finally starting to recognize the misuse and abuse of power in their lives, even their own, you know, our own little shadow investigation, and like finally breaking out of those manipulations and those patterns and like not letting, being like, fuck no, no more. I'm not going into this pattern again.
That, I'm so fucking glad you said that. That's so spot on. That's so spot on. I was trying to kind of say that earlier, but you said it way better. That's like exactly what I've been feeling of that. And I always hesitate to say it because I feel like it's so overdone in astrology of like cord cutting and releasing and all this kind of stuff. So I hate writing it when it actually is present in the chart, because I'm just like, oh God, like it sounds like that same freaking thing again, you know. But no, this one really is actually. It's really like cut and release, shut the door, take the key, throw it down the well until you hear it clink, like literally just like goodbye, you know? Yeah, totally. And like you're saying, so eloquently put, cutting the cords that have to do with misuse of power, of like actually I'm good on that. Like, you can't actually do that to me anymore. And I'm not going to put myself in that position anymore.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
I think on the macro scale, well, maybe I should check in with you. How do you feel about on your platform mentioning some of the war going on in the world? Can we go there for a second? No, it's delicate.
I will talk about it in a certain way. Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
A careful stepping toward that subject. I feel like this new moon, because we haven't, in all of our new moons in Scorpio since Uranus entered Taurus, we have not had an opposition between Uranus and the new moon on its own, but especially not with Mars sitting on the new moon. And I feel like the anger, the rage, the finally seeing, like, what is this? What are we doing? I'm starting to hear more and more people talk about, like, who gives a fuck who's in the right or wrong? People are dying. Why is this happening now?
Yes. So I will absolutely talk about it from that place, 100%. And I hope to God, man, when I don't know. I hope to God when it comes time to elect yet another official, that maybe, just maybe this time, people will think twice before defaulting to this same bullshit fucking circus of red versus blue, black versus blue. If you can't see at this point that there is something else much larger and much more sinister at play here, like, yeah, that's what I'll say about that.
Totally. I encountered somebody this week, I don't know, some YouTube video that I stumbled upon where they were talking about leadership and the kind of personality. It was like a psychological analysis on the kinds of people who go into positions of power like that. And they were steering clear of making any kind of political statements, any kind of like position on anything. And they were just sticking to, hey, we should probably talk about the kinds of personalities and issues in those people that go for powerful positions, because we have got to do something differently. This is not working. The kinds of people who are drawn to that, who think that they would be the person that, like, something's not going well here. And if we don't make changes, then it doesn't matter who we're electing. It's not going to go well. We have to talk about what's happening inside of all of us. And I was so excited because it was like, I mean, it's a bunch of psychologists, but might as well have been a group of astrologers being like, let's all do shadow work. I was so stoked.
Right.
I'm hoping that as Pluto finishes his tour through Capricorn, that there are changes like that. And this opposition of Uranus, the awareness, the Great Awakener too, the darkness of Scorpio and the wielding of power, I feel like that awareness is starting to really grow. So that's my hope for it.
100%. I wanted to answer a comment that came through that I think is really important, and I actually had my own process with this. Phoenix Moments said basically that they were feeling called to travel in 2024 in April and May, and they're kind of like, is that even a good time to travel with so many uncertainties? And I will be traveling as well during that time, and the Uranus-Jupiter conjunction is actually making an inconjunct to my Uranus in my 9th house of travel. And I was kind of like, okay. So to answer that, I'll share with you, I mean, first of all, no one, I think, can answer that for sure, but I'll share with you what I came to on that, which is, first of all, I don't think you can outrun your day of departure. I think we pick our time of birth. I think we pick our time of death. I think that it's all perfect. And I myself am committed to my path and my service. And I will go wherever God wants me to go. And I will do whatever God wants me to do. And when it's my time, it's my fucking time. And it's going to be great. So I did have this moment of like, oh God, should I be on a plane? And like this whole thing. And then I was like, I mean, like,
stop
what am I going to do?
living your life because of the astrology.
What?
stop living your life because of the astrology.
Right. Right. And that's where astrology can become a misused tool, right? When we use it to confirm anxieties or fears or whatever. And it's like, it's a tool for empowerment and deeper self-understanding. So I'm going. I'm going to be traveling all over the fucking place. Actually, where I'm going to be is really it's a high spot for tsunamis, and I had this moment of like, great, but what can you do? You know, it is what it is.
You know, it will be that grand conjunction will be sextiling Saturn and I believe Mars for a segment of it. There's some really nice aspects happening at that time. So it's unlike where, you know, that same signature of Jupiter Uranus was present at the start of World War I. It was present at the global spread of World War II. But it's not like a war signature. It's just that it spreads chaos a little bit, but chaos is not a bad thing. It's an unpredictable thing, and it is an evolutionary thing. So I think that like that in conjunct, when I think of you specifically traveling, Alex, I'm like, okay, well, you know, as we've talked about before, we already know it's going to be stressful.
Yeah.
So you adjust. And with the sextile of it to Mars and Saturn in Pisces, like find your flow and adjust, and you live your life. Totally. So I don't think in terms of travel, that's a bad thing next year.
Totally. And I was telling my client today, I think one thing we do want to maybe keep in mind is that conjunction is going to bring so many things we can't anticipate to light, that if you can make plans for 2024 after April somewhat tentative, that might be a good idea. And that's kind of what I'm doing, is I'm telling people, to be honest with you, until Jupiter hits Uranus, I don't have all the story, right? So be open potentially if you can for plans to shift after April, because there's going to be a lot that comes to light and awakens in all of us.
Everything.
Especially people with Pluto in the later degrees of Scorpio.
Oh yeah.
Which is a whole fucking generation of people are going to have their Pluto in Scorpio opposed by that shit.
That is going to be bonkers. Yeah, that's true.
That's insane.
Yeah.
You know?
No, this new moon, I'm just realizing, this new moon is the first.
One second. Sorry, 1 second. I need to grab like a sweater. I'm freezing. 1 second.
God's asked me to travel. Traveling in April, the little renegade. Woo! I think it's going to be great. I mean, we can't know. We can't know, and there's always going to be shadow that comes up. But I think it's going to be an awesome time, you guys.
All right.
Yay.
So much better.
So,
all right, what were you saying?
Just thinking about how this new moon in Scorpio is the first new moon we've had Scorpio new moon we've had fresh out of the South Node in Scorpio. And so this new moon in Scorpio, for the first time in a couple of years, is the one we have that's not ruling the South Node. It's actually the ruler of the North Node now.
Yeah.
So if you guys, here's a fun trick for you guys. As you follow along with wherever the North Node is transiting your chart, currently in Aries, right at 24 degrees or something, the ruler of the North Node in Aries is Mars. So you follow along with the North Node, and it's showing you where you're going to find some kind of spiritual growth. And there's always this fresh, exciting, expansive feeling that happens wherever the North Node is. But then you can add to that, check where Mars is transiting your chart and where Mars is in your chart. And that's going to tell you more of the story about what's trying to be, what lessons are trying to show up in a very positive, exciting, like fulfilling way in the North Node. And then if you want to go farther, you find the ruler of the sign that Mars is currently in. So right now that's what I was saying when I first hopped on here, is the North Node is in Aries. We look for Mars to understand more about that. Oh, look, Mars is in Scorpio, its own rulership, and the trail stops there, and it's with the new moon. That's why I say this one is so penetrative, so piercing. I think that you were saying it was really sensual energy when I first hopped on. I was like, yes, that is so this new moon. Yeah. But soon I'm going to hop into Sagittarius. And so for, I don't even know, like a few weeks to a month, Mars will be in Sagittarius, and the ruler of Sag is Jupiter. And so you go and look at where Jupiter is in your chart and where it's transiting now, and that's the other subject we're talking about with this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction coming up. And Jupiter is currently in Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, which is ruling the South Node. So there's this really big, if you spend a little time with your chart and you analyze the current North Node, Mars, and when Mars is in Sagittarius, it'll be Jupiter, and Jupiter's in Taurus, it'll be Venus. And you can find this whole story about like the subjects that are really coming online for you, especially around that Jupiter-Uranus conjunction in April. Does that make sense? That was a lot, really.
No, that's great. I also saw somebody ask what years I was talking about with the conjunction opposing Pluto Scorpio. We're talking like 1990 to 94 ish, right? Yeah.
In the later years, yeah.
With some flexibility, but yeah. Yes, I love what you're saying about Mars being the ruler of the North Node right now. Very, very true. And I also thought, real quick, maybe we'll close on this because I want to make some dinner. But
Me too.
We have the kazimi with Mars in a couple days.
Yeah.
So why don't we talk about that a little bit, and then we'll close out.
So between the new moon and that kazimi is the window of like the glimpse of. I mean, that's how I'm feeling it. I'm seeing.
You want to tell people what a kazimi is real quick?
Yeah, so kazimi is a word that means in the heart of. And we're talking about when another planet is aligned within not 16 degrees, but 16 minutes, right, guys? So there's 60 minutes in a degree. And when you get within 16 minutes, so it's the same degree and it's so tight, it's kind of like being in the eye of a storm in the hurricane. And all of a sudden you're perfectly aligned with the sun. And so it's like the sun, like God shining a spotlight on whatever energy of this planet is. And you can get these, I always think of like the heavens opening, like, choirs of angels. And you just get this beautiful,
it's a really,
blessed energy.
It's a really beautiful image. It is. It's basically where a planet and the sun are passing each other in the sky. And for a moment, the light of the sun, the brilliance, the radiance of the sun blinds out the other planet. I mean, the sun represents the soul and the like eternal brilliance and light of the soul, which is of course the fractal of God. So it's just like, oh my God, it's getting more fucking epic. So basically, Mars in Scorpio is going to make conjunction with the sun. And so continue.
Yeah, so all of a sudden you've got think of the way that it feels anytime the sun shifts into a new sign. Okay, so most recently Scorpio. I bet you all felt that scorpionic energy really set in. You know how everybody says like, oh, the veil is thin at this time of year. I'm like, no, it's not. The veil is always thin. But the sun is shining this Scorpio energy, and like a surgeon's scalpel, it's just slicing through the veil. So we all feel it more potently. Now all of a sudden you get the sun energizing Mars in its rulership, which is pretty stinking special, and no longer ruling the South Node. So this has happened 2 years ago, but at the time it was ruling the South Node, so there's a lot of karmic unpleasantry coming up with it. And now it's something totally different, and Saturn's in a new sign, no longer squaring to Scorpio, and so there's a lot more support to this one than there has been in recent cycles. And we haven't had a Mars kazimi in 2 years. Or that's not true. It happens every year. What am I thinking? So we get this.
Not in Scorpio, though.
What's that?
Not in Scorpio.
Not in Scorpio. Yeah. That's true. So now,
and I think also symbolically, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Go for it.
I think also symbolically, the sun kind of, is shining a light on something. And Mars in Scorpio is like a little creature under a rock. I mean, Mars in Scorpio is like things that are hidden, secretive, maybe even secretive from ourselves. It's something that we don't even particularly realize because it's in the subconscious. It's buried in shadow. And here comes the sun shining this spotlight on Mars in Scorpio. And it's like for a moment, everything that is hidden from view may be revealed, So I'm thinking of the kazimi as a potential moment, and to tell you when it is, sun will start to get close, but the actual conjunction looks like it's on the 16th of November, obviously. This can be a moment on the 16th where something in our subconscious related to our desires, Mars, or something that we're going after might be spotlit for us so we can see it. That's kind of what I was thinking about that.
I love that
placement.
When I'm thinking of, the window from now to, what did you say, the 16th? Actually, oh, right, I looked at it the other day. It's not a perfect kazimi for multiple days, but we do have the exact conjunction to the degree for multiple days, and I do think it's like many, many hours. It might be over 24 hours of an actual kazimi.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Shit.
When I first looked at it, I was like, does it go the 14th to the 18th? But I don't think it's kazimi the whole time. But it is real damn close. So I'm thinking of it as like, right now we're in that little window of the new moon where Uranus, the Great Awakener, is sitting opposite going, do you see your pattern? Do you see what they've been doing to you that is not okay?
Yes.
And why you've been letting that happen?
Yes.
And do you see?
Thank you for saying that.
And then,
thank you for saying that. Yeah.
It's like, now you strike. If you're going to pick an astrological date when the iron is hot, we are talking about Mars kazimi.
Yeah.
That is hot iron energy.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah. So it looks like, what do we want to say? 16th, 17th, 18th for that energy?
Yeah. Yeah. That's about it. And notice there's this perfect T-square for a minute there, I think on the 13th, from the sun to Black Moon Lilith to Uranus. Crazy. Wow. Something's mad. Something's angry.
Yes.
Someone's.
Yes. I love what you just said about that being a moment where it's clarified for you by the light of the sun. Something that is a power dynamic or a toxic element, something in the shadows is revealed those days. Yeah, I love that. That's very, very on point with that, I feel.
Cool. Which will be sweet as, the moon moves on into Sagittarius and gives us a little oomph, a little resilience after whatever is happening for us this weekend.
Yes. Totally.
Mm-hmm. Cool. And with Mercury at the same time, Mercury squaring Saturn. So it's like, if there have to be hard conversations where we have truth and clarity and talk about boundaries, that's the time.
Absolutely.
This kazimi trigger natal positions. I have Mercury there, says Nature Love. Yeah. I mean, I think so. What do you think, Alex?
Well, this kazimi trigger natal positions.
If you have your a natal, in her case, Mercury, right where that is.
Yeah. Absolutely. So it's gonna stimulate or potentially aggravate or activate that natal position. Yes.
Mm-hmm. The kazimi. What did we say? 14th through the 16th.
Let's see.
13, 14.
Yeah, that's the window. It's for sure. And honestly, this new moon has that similar kind of energy. So it's almost like the new moon just kind of like snakes its way into that. So it's like the new moon energy almost just kind of keeps going, keeps rolling,
Which, like, okay, we just had the eclipse. This just rolled into this new moon. I'm gonna roll this other thing. Oh man, it's been a lot lately.
All right.
I am at 24 degrees, Nature Love.
I'm so glad we did this. I'm starving. I'm like lightheaded. Let's do this again soon.
Thank you so much. That was a really sweet treat, Alex. Thanks so much.
Oh my God. I love talking to you.
And it's time to go with that. I just dropped everything off my desk. That's the cue.
All right, darling. So good to talk to you.
You too.
Thanks, everybody. Talk to you soon.
Have a great night.